Let me show you what it is. I was birthed up top, but was raised at the bottom of the map, where the girls all thick and the hottest nigga rap. If you looking for the good, then we got him in a trap like took it from white snakes to this metaphor might sound a little confusing, but y'all really how'd I come a long way from a days in and other hotels that I stayed in. I took a lifestyle from mediocre to good, and now would say it's sitting at amazing. Girls trying to sell whole lobby us, hear them all screaming and it's probably us. But I can't blame females can't really ignore something that's obvious. What you really expect when I strut through town? 2 or 3 days, I'll shut you down. Chillin' with the homie Trey Songz, you call him a prince, he rap 2 up, 2 down. Anyone don't get used to me, I'm far from the man that I used to be, and I don't ever really kick game. I know you find it impressive whenever you introduce to me, cause I'm a good dude, take pride in that.
Yeah, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Mack Lessons Radio Show, and my name is Mr. Tariq Elite Nasheed. And I'm so glad everybody's tuning into the show today. Today's show is brought to you by brotherhoodofthegame.com. That's a website where players can chop up game, vibe, and socialize with other players. Also, today's show is brought to you by the Tariq Elite Man Up Tour. That is the official name of my worldwide tour. Now, we just added some new dates to the schedule, and tickets are available now. Now, as you know, I'm going to be in New York City, July 10th at the Florence Gould Theater. You can still go get your tickets for that at macklessons.com or macklessonsradio.com. Bay Area. What's up, Bay Area? I'm hitting the Bay Area on August 7th. Saturday, August 7th, 7 p.m., 2010 at the Black Repertory Theater in Berkeley. So all my Oakland cats, all my Frisco cats, all you cats in Richmond, cats over in Stockton, all you Sacramento cats, come on down. I got a lot of folks all over that area. The Northern California is going to be in the house. You guys, the tickets are available now. Bay Area, stand up. MackLessons.com. And it's not over. Atlanta, it's official. I'm going to be in Atlanta doing my seminar August 14th. That's a Saturday night at the 7 Stages Theater. And what's so fly about Atlanta, my special guest is going to be Alexis K. Tyler. I don't think y'all heard me. It's me, Tariq Elite, and Alexis K. Tyler in the same joint, same night, spitting hot fire. Do you guys understand how monumental the game is going to be? I want y'all to soak that in for 1 minute. Let that soak in for 1 minute.
Dumb, backwards, wayward ass, double clutching, double dick sucking slut.
Do you guys know how much game is going to be brought to Atlanta? I don't think y'all understand how me and Alexis K. Tyler are going to bring so much heat. We're going to bloody your nose with fucking game in Atlanta. It's going to be sick in Atlanta. I had to bring Alexis in down Atlanta because it's so much tricking and moisture. I had to bring in the cavalry. So the game is going to be hella thick. The game in Atlanta is going to be hella deep. You guys cannot miss that. All the people in the South, y'all need to migrate over to Atlanta to hear that game on Saturday, August 14th. And you can get your discount tickets right now at macklessons.com. And let me tell you some of the stuff I'm going to be talking about, people, at the Man Up Tour all over the country. And also, those are not the only dates. We haven't finalized the other dates, but they're pretty much in the cut. I'm going to be in St. Louis in September and London, England in October. We're still finalizing everything, so we're not selling tickets for those venues yet, but we're finalizing that. But for right now, New York, Bay Area, Atlanta, July 10th, August 7th, August 14th. And some of the topics I'm going to be talking about, I'm going to talk about the history of game. I'm going to talk about the science of having game. I'm going to talk about how to be assertive and confident with your mouthpiece. I'm going to go into the mentality of tricking and cupcaking, and you're going to learn the difference between tricking and cupcaking. Then I'm going to get into the historical part of the game, and y'all really don't want to miss this. I'm going to talk about Masons and Moors. A lot of cats have been wanting me to drop game about the ancient Moors, and I'm going to be talking about that. That's going to be basically Secret Societies Part 3. I'm going to talk about the hidden relationship between secret societies and the Moorish Empire. Do you understand how much game that is going to be dropped on the Man Up Tour, people? The game is going to be freaking heavy. I'm going all in with the game. So if you're on the East Coast, if you're in New York, bring yourself down, bring your sons down, because that's why I'm calling it the Man Up Tour, because we really got to get this manhood game up. The moistness, the sucker behavior is through the roof right now. You know, I saw something on the internet the other day. Somebody sent me a clip of some rapper up in Berkeley, and I'm coming to Berkeley. What's up, Bay Area? And I was shocked to see this happen in the Bay Area. There's some rapper, some dude named Little B. I never really heard of this dude. He's some rapper named Little B. They said he's a little moist or whatever, but again, I don't know anything about the guy. And it's on YouTube, but this rapper Little B from the Bay Area, from Berkeley, some dudes set him up. Some dudes in his neighborhood, they were pretending to interview him. He was somewhere out and about, and some dudes came up shaking his hand, acting like everything was cool, and they had a video camera, and they were like, hey man, let's do an interview for whatever. So they were doing an interview with the guy and acting like everything was cool. Then one of the guys who was interviewing Little B just hauled off and started socking the dude. He sucker punched him and then ran off. So it was a bitch ass ambush. And I'm looking at this and I'm like, is this what we have out here now? We have dudes just being little punk bitches out here in the streets right now. Is it that bad? Because I really don't interact with those little dudes like that, but it's really sad if that's what we have out here in the game right now. We got little bitch ass dudes bringing your little video camera and sucker punching a dude. That's called faggotry, man. That ain't even moist. That's straight faggotry. I mean, you can't even look yourself in the mirror at night doing some shit like that. I mean, you sneaking up on dudes, acting like everything is cool, and then sneaking a punch, and you think you're gonna get points, nigga. You get negative points on that. You get points taken away from that, dude. Dude, if you got a beef with somebody, you roll up on him, you call him out. You don't have to have all your people jump him and all that. You call that dude out, and then y'all handle it on some grown man shit. But you don't be no bitch and sucker punch some dude and sit around the dude grinning and laughing and then sneak a punch and run. What the fuck do we have out here right now? We got some real bitch ass dudes out here, man. We got too much feminine energy with these dudes. We got dudes doing bitch made emotional things because we have so many dudes raised by these single mothers, and I'm not beating up on the single mothers because I know a lot of it goes back to the single mothers, but we have to really look at that. That has a lot to do with the way a lot of these dudes are acting and corresponding with one another. That's why I'm taking this tour on the road, and I'm all over the place with this thing. It's called the Man Up Tour. Man, ladies, you mothers out there, all you single mothers, bring your sons to my seminar. I promise you, he will be a new man. All that bitch assness and all that sucker nonsense that he's doing out here in the streets, that will pretty much stop. He will get his third eye of game open, coming out, chopping up game with the players. Because these dudes need to be around some manhood energy, and I talked about that on a show a few weeks ago. But anyway, I digress. Let me get into some other stuff. You know what? Have you seen the footage of this guy down in South America, this Sloot guy? Y'all remember him? Y'all remember about 5 years ago in the country of Aruba, this white girl, Natalie Holloway, they found her missing, and there were these suspects. And one of the suspects was this guy, this Dutch guy named Joran Sloot. And it really pisses me off that they treated this guy with kid gloves. because now they got him for another murder. He done went and killed somebody else. And what makes me mad about this situation, when Natalee Holloway was missing, they started arresting every brother on that island. They started arresting brothers left and right in Aruba who had nothing to do with it. And I've been to Aruba before. Aruba is about, bam, that big. It's not, you can ride a moped around Aruba in an hour. It's a real nice spot though. Real cool spot. But they started arresting brothers so fast, and then they let this white boy go. And they treated him with kid gloves. They lollygagged around. It took them forever to bring him in custody, and then they let him go, and they bullshitted around. This dude, years later, made a videotape admitting that he killed Natalee Holloway, and they still didn't do anything. Now this fool went and killed somebody else. And hell, he had to confess to this before they can arrest him and hold him. So now they're talking about this dude as a serial killer. And that just pisses me off to see that this guy, they were so lenient and so relaxed with this dude, and somebody else had to die for them to take this asshole seriously. And they're gonna tear his ass up down in there in Peru. Peru, they ain't messing around. Your little white privileges ain't working down in Peru. You saw on the press conferences, they got this dude in a bulletproof vest. They're gonna light his ass up down in Peru. But I just had to talk about that. I digress. Also, y'all, what I'm going to do for my players out there to show my appreciation to all my players, all my listeners, I have a free mixtape that I'm going to give you guys this Friday. I have a free mixtape I'm going to give you guys this Friday. It's called Mack in the Day. I'm going to play some old school 90s and 80s cuts. It's going to be about 45 minutes, an hour worth of jams that you can listen to and get your workout on to and drive to. So there's a free mixtape I'm putting out, my first mixtape, called Mack in the Day. You can get it Friday at MackLessons.com, and you can get it at MackLessonsRadio.com. Now, a lot of people have been talking about Gary Coleman, and last week I forgot to talk about Gary Coleman's situation. Rest in peace to my man Gary Coleman. And I know I'm a little late on this. Usually I'm on point with topics. I just forgot to mention that, brother, and I apologize for that. But Gary Coleman, our brother, has passed away. As you should know, it's been all over the news, all over newspapers and everything. What's interesting about the story of Gary Coleman is that little dirtbag wife of his. That little dirtbag wife of his is real funny style. They released the 911 call recently that she made when Gary Coleman, they said that Gary Coleman fell down and busted his head and died. A few days later died. They released the 911 call, and this woman, the wife, was real funny style on the phone. They were telling her to help Gary Coleman out. Hold his head, do this, do that, and she was like, no, I don't want to do that. I freak out when I see blood. She was acting real weird. Now, today, a lot of people are really looking at her funny because she took pictures of her and Gary basically on his deathbed, and she sold the pictures to the tabloids. I mean, this woman is doing some real funny style shit. I think this woman murked Gary Coleman. I'm going to put it on out there. I think this woman straight up murked Gary Coleman because their relationship was already volatile. And just listen, they're trying to say that this dude fell down and died. How the hell do you fall down and die? Plus, Gary Coleman was basically a midget or a little person or whatever you want to call him. So he wouldn't have to fall that far to the ground. How do you fall down and die? Who the hell falls down and dies? Especially when you 4'2". Who the fuck falls down and dies and you 4'2"? Man, that wife of his, she power drived his ass off some stairs or something. That woman dumped him, she body slammed him or something. She knocked him upside the head with a vacuum cleaner or something. You don't fall down and die. That woman murked the hell out of Gary Coleman. let me tell you something, man. That situation with Gary Coleman and his wife, I talked about that situation in my book, The Elite Way. I talked about these 7 levels of disrespect because of real, I'm dead serious. I think that woman murked that dude. I really think this woman did something to that man and took him out the game. Because they were already going through things. And in my book, man, I talk about these 7 levels of disrespect. You guys need to go to Amazon.com or Barnes & Noble and get my book, The Elite Way, and really study some of the chapters in the book because it talks about a lot of things that's going to save your life. In that book, I talked about the 7 levels of disrespect, and I talk about it on this show a million times. And I noticed that Gary Coleman and his wife, their situation, it was a very disrespectful situation. The wife would be disrespecting him in public, and that's level number 4 in the book, The Elite Way, as far as noticing disrespectful behavior. Level number 4 is when your woman publicly embarrasses you. So I've seen interviews with Gary Coleman and this so-called wife of his, and she talked real slick and real greasy about him live on television. Then she does other interviews talking slick about him. Then she got into a little domestic dispute with him and called the police on him. Fellas, that level of disrespect is going to go downhill. And I talked about that in the book. And the ultimate thing happened. Level number 7, physical harm. I always say that. And that happened to Gary Coleman. If you're in a relationship and certain levels of disrespect keep escalating up and up and up, you're going to reach level 7, and level 7 is physical harm. Let's not get it twisted. That chick did something to Gary Coleman. But he was a little dude, and plus, you know, he had to be real aggressive acting in order to maintain. Because people would probably try to punk this dude, so he physically can't really whoop nobody's ass. Physically, he's at the mercy of adult-sized people. So I think that woman did something to that brother, man. I think level 7 of disrespect happened to our brother Gary Coleman. So you guys authorities better take a real close look at that little wife of his. Because I don't believe this dude fell down and died. I ain't never seen that before. Somebody just fall out and then they die a few days later. I think there was an ass whooping up off in that house. But I digress. And speaking of dealing with relationships, I want to talk about how certain dudes get in relationships and you are taught the game, but you don't soak the game up. You don't apply the game. I notice there's a lot of that out here. You have guys out here, you can tell them the game all day and you can break it down and it can make all the sense in the world. But these dudes almost like being in dysfunctional relationships. Have you noticed that? You ever been around a dude who's just doing dumb things in relationships and he's just doing things that defies common sense, and you try to talk to him, you try to get through to him, but he sticks with that dysfunctional relationship? Kind of like what Gary Coleman did. I got a letter from a guy one time. I got an email. He was like, Tariq, what's up, man? I'm dealing with this girl. She's kind of disrespectful. I moved in with her, and when I moved in with her, she got more and more disrespectful. There's dudes calling, and we get to arguing, and then she holds out from sex, and I don't know what to do, man. I've been dating her for about a year, and I don't want to leave, but I don't think I can take this. What should I do? So I break the game down to him. I'm like, look, man, what you need to do, you need to get your own spot, because right now the woman feels like since you're dependent upon her, she can call the shots. Women are real funny style when they find out that a guy is dependent upon them. You never let a woman feel like you are dependent upon her, because she's going to get real disrespectful. It's just in her nature. She can't help it. Women are real funny like that. They cannot help it. If they know that you are dependent upon them, they will start acting funny. For the most part. There are a few exceptions, but for the most part, women will start acting funny. They'll try to power trip on you because they'll lose respect. And I get on that in another show. So this is what I'm telling the guy. I'm like, look, this is what you need to do. And I'm talking and breaking the game down to him very scientific, very logically. Like, look, man, you can still date her, but get yourself together, get your own spot so the level of respect can rise up, and you'll be good to go, man. So you can be equal with your chick. You don't want to be below your chick. Because women need leadership. They don't need a man who's a follower, because that puts you into a mother-child situation. So you have to be a leader. So you have to be at least equal or above her in the game, where you can upgrade her. He's like, oh, okay, that makes a lot of sense, Flex. All right, cool. So about 6 months pass. This guy sent me another email. He was like, yeah, what's up, man? Yeah, man, I'm still in that situation, and man, it got worse, man. She started talking to other dudes, and other dudes start calling the house, and we start getting into fights, and she called the police on me. I mean, just a real sad, singing the blues ass story. And I'm like, nigga, don't email. I got mad at this dude. I'm like, man, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. That dude is what I like to call a blues singer. A lot of you dudes in relationships are blues singers. You don't want to know no real game. You like singing the blues. You want to have people sit up and listen to your blues stories. You think those blues stories make you sound interesting. They make you sound like a moist sucker. You know what I'm talking about, people. There's always some dude who's whining and bitching and complaining about his relationship. Man, my woman this, my woman don't do that, my woman. Well, do something about it. There are dudes out here who are emotionally based, just like they're women. They have the same level of emotions. That's why I'm saying that guys need to man up. There's guys out here who like all that emotional energy up in the air. There's dysfunction, there's drama all the time, and these guys feed on that. You feed on all that dysfunction because some emotion is better than no emotion. A lot of guys think all that endless emotion brings about some type of passion. You know what I'm saying? It's like they like being dissed by women. A lot of these guys have a masochistic vibe. A lot of guys like verbal abuse. They like a woman to be disrespecting them. These dudes be having these mother issues because a lot of these dudes grew up with these dominant mothers, and they want a female who's just as dominant. They want a female checking them and all this old bullshit. You're always going to be on a level of disrespect. Your woman is going to be disrespecting you if you put yourself in that position. Because as a man in a relationship, the man, you have to be the ground wire. You have to be the guy who is using logic and reason to counter the emotional nature of your woman. You understand that, fellas? It can't be two people in the household that's running off emotion. Somebody has to be the ground wire. Somebody has to say, hey, look, this is what we're going to do. Damn all this arguing. Let's handle some business. You can't be intertwined with drama day in and day out in your relationships. That makes you a lesbian. You got a lesbian relationship with your lady. Because at that point, your lady ain't going to be sexually aroused by no nigga that she's dominating all the time. So you're going to be like two chicks bickering. So that you cannot have that imbalance in the game. You cannot be no blues singer. When somebody gives you some game, you take that game. But I hate these blues singing dudes who pretend they want to know some game, but all they want to do is sing the blues. And y'all niggas be sounding like B.B. King. You know these niggas. Hold on. This is what they sound like. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, my woman getting text messages. All in the middle of the night. I knew something was wrong, 'cause the cooch is no longer tight. I first met her in the strip club. I had to pull out my cape. Even though she's a double dick clutcher, she had to be safe. I feel moist in that spells moist. Oh, my woman's not a dime. She's not that fine. And she's a double dick clutcher. 2 dicks at a time. Double dick clutcher. I feel moist. Moist in child. And that's what these niggas sound like. These niggas sound like straight up blues singers when they dealing with these women, man. So you guys, nobody wants to hear your blues song, fellas. Nobody wants to hear all that shit. You gotta man up when you're dealing with your woman. Stop being emotionally based. Stop singing the blues. If you're in a relationship and the relationship ain't working, if the relationship is dysfunctional, you're going to have to get out anyway, because the woman is going to kick you to the curb, because her level of disrespect is going to out you out of the game. It's going to drive you out anyway. So it's best to leave a relationship on your own terms. Like the old players say, when you leave a relationship, as the man, when a man leaves a woman, the potential of the woman to come back with her mind right is always there. If the woman dumps you, the potential of her getting back with you is 0 or very limited. So if a woman dumps you, the likelihood of her coming back, very slim. You dig what I'm saying? So guys, get your mind right, get your game tight. Come check me out on tour at the Man Up Tour. Hit me up. New York City, July 10th. Berkeley, California, August 7th. Atlanta, Georgia with Alexis K. Tyler, August 14th. Get your tickets at MackLessons.com. My players, women, y'all ladies, come on down and check me out on tour too, because the game is going to be heavy for you. The game is real. Y'all holla. Peace.